بسم الله الحمد لله والصلاة والسلام على رسول الله وعلى آله وصحبه ومن والاه. We had completed, I believe, verse number 7 yesterday in Surah Al-Baqarah. The two verses that talk about the disbelievers, إن الذين كفروا سواء عليهم أأنذرتهم أم لم تنذرهم لا يؤمنون ختم الله على قلوبهم وعلى سمعهم وعلى أبصارهم غشاوة ولهم عذاب عظيم. After the initial couple of verses talked about the superiority of the Quran, then the following verses talked about those who followed the Quran. Then a logical question would arise, which is, if the Quran is so supreme and so truthful and has so much convincing power, how come many people do not believe in it and do not follow it? So the following verses that talk about the kuffar indicate that the problem is not in the Quran but in the people themselves, that their eyes are blind and they refuse to listen and their hearts are sealed. Now this is a kind of punishment that Allah imposed upon them due to certain actions. And the main action that the main problem that they committed was the fact that they ignored the signs of Allah, kafaru. That they, as I mentioned, al-kufr means to cover or to conceal. The signs are evident and obvious, but they insist upon ignoring them and not taking any lessons from them and not acting according to these signs of Allah that are constantly bombarding them in their daily life. So that results in them losing their faculties of comprehension, faculties of being able to reflect and extract lessons from the signs of Allah that they see, and also, as I mentioned, the comprehension of the heart, the hearing to the signs that are being recited, or the verses that are being recited, and of course the signs that are visible in the universe and within themselves. The signs are extremely plenty, and there's no excuse for anyone to ignore all these signs unless they are bent on disbelieving Allah. Allah says, فَلَمَّا زَاغُوا أَزَاغَ اللَّهُ قُلُوبَهُم. So this punishment does not, nobody's born with such a state of not being able to comprehend or reflect or understand. Nobody's born that way. It is their own action that leads to that. Allah says, when they deviated, Allah caused their hearts to deviate more. And then, of course, with persistence in this such an evil way, the heart comes to a state that it is totally sealed. And then basically the person is totally convinced with all the evil that's inside their hearts and the disbelief and the false ideas and the wrong worldview that he has, and is totally blocked from receiving any true information about Allah or the universe around him. But of course Allah can reverse all this. As I recited yesterday, وَمَنْ كَانَ مَيْتًا فَأَحْيَيْنَاهُ وَجَعَلْنَا لَهُ نُورًا يَمْشِي بِهِ فِي النَّاسِ. Allah can revive. In the same surah, in Surah Al-Hadid, later on you'll come, اعلموا أن الله يحيي الأرض بعد موتها. This verse talks about bringing the earth back to life in reference to bringing the hearts back to life as well, because it came right after the verse أَلَمْ يَأْنِ لِلَّذِينَ آمَنُوا أَن تَخْشَعَ قُلُوبُهُمْ لِذِكْرِ اللَّهِ. Also in another verse Allah says فَعَمُوا وَصَمُّوا ثُمَّ تَابَ اللَّهُ عَلَيْهِمْ ثُمَّ عَمُوا وَصَمُّوا. So they can be deaf and blind, then Allah would تَابَ عَلَيْهِمْ means He would go back to bestowing His favors upon them, which means to revive their hearing, to revive their sight, their ability to reflect, to ability to comprehend, but they may also go back again. Allah says, وَلَوْ عَلِمَ اللَّهُ فِيهِمْ خَيْرًا لَأَسْمَعَهُم. If Allah knew that they had goodness in them, He would allow them to understand and listen. وَلَوْ أَسْمَعَهُمْ لَتَوَلَّوْا وَهُمْ مُعْرِضُونَ. But if He would deliver the message to them, they would ignore the message and they would reject it and run away from it. And that is basically the problem of the kufr. The following verses basically talk about the hypocrites.
No. So isn't the concept of khatam sealed khalas, it's done at this stage, it's down to the point where it's no return?
Yeah.
Khatam is sealed, there's no way
It is sealed. Naam, it is sealed.
Because these guys they're committed to kufr. It's not just like they were.
Absolutely. Absolutely. They are sealed, and during the state, while they are sealed, nothing will go in and no evil will go out. So they will be bent on the kufr. But is it reversible or not? Yes, it is reversible. Allah wills. Allah can seal the heart and then can open the heart, or can seal the heart again. Allah says, وَنُقَلِّبُ أَفِئِدَتَهُمْ وَأَبْصَارَهُم. Allah can change the heart. الْقُلُوبُ بَيْنَ أَصْبُعَيْنِ مِنْ أَصَابِعِ الرَّحْمَنِ. The hearts are between the fingers of Ar-Rahman. Allah يُقَلِّبُهَا كَيْفَ يَشَاءُ. He will turn it to whatever direction He wills. So yes, they are sealed. During that state, they are sealed. And that is also to give comfort to the Prophet that it's not, the problem is not with your efforts. You have done all the effort to guide them, but they have a problem within them. Their hearts are diseased and they cannot really, that your message is not, your teaching is not reaching them. The problem is not in you. Because the Prophet ﷺ used to grieve about such people who no matter how much he tries to guide them, they are still in their state even worse. Sometimes they get worse in animosity towards Islam. Allah says, فَلَعَلَّكَ بَاخِعٌ نَفْسَكَ عَلَىٰ أَثَارِهِمْ إِن لَمْ يُؤْمِنُوا بِهَذَا الْحَدِيثِ أَسَفًا. Don't kill yourself because they do not want to believe. So Allah shows him the reason that the problem is with them. They are sealed. Allah may keep the seal forever or may change it. Just like I recited, فَعَمُوا وَصَمُّوا. They have reached the state of blindness and state of deafness. فَتَابَ ثُمَّ تَابَ اللَّهُ عَلَيْهِ. Then Allah تاب عليهم. Allah can go back and bestow His blessings upon them. That can happen, and that's evidenced in our real life that we see kuffar who were totally against Islam, and suddenly they totally changed to the exact opposite. We see that almost daily, right? But during that state, when in the state of kufr, when they were deaf, blind, and dumb, like this, they can't understand. They were staunch enemies. They were inflicting so much harm on Islam. It's not like they actually had any kind of empathy towards Islam or Muslims. No, they were worse, some of the worst. Yani. So maybe you can mention some examples, or every day you look on YouTube, you see some examples. So we'll leave the verses of talk about the hypocrites till next time.